We're constantly being told to do more, be more, achieve more, all at the same time. But what if the real secret to getting those huge, extraordinary results isn't about piling more on your plate, but actually about doing less? Today, we're diving into this really powerful, kind of counterintuitive idea that the path to massive success is found by focusing on just one thing.
Just let that sink in for a second. This isn't some hot new take from a tech billionaire. This is ancient wisdom. And honestly, it's a huge challenge to the way most of us work, right? With like a dozen tabs open, our phones buzzing, our focus just shattered. The book we're exploring today basically says if you really want to achieve something great, you have to start with this one simple truth. A divided attention gets you exactly 0 results. So, if the secret is so simple, where do we find it? Well, the answer is probably not where you think. It's not hiding in some complicated university study or a dense business book. Nope. It comes from a cowboy in a 90s comedy. Seriously. So, if you've seen the movie City Slickers, you know Billy Crystal's character is in the middle of a full-on midlife crisis. He's totally lost, confused, just searching for some kind of meaning. And then you have Curly, this tough, old-school cowboy, who just looks at him and asks the one question he has no answer for. What's the secret to life? And Curly's answer is it's perfect in how simple it is. He just holds up one finger and says, one thing. That's it. The big secret isn't some grand, complicated philosophy. It's all about finding that one thing that truly matters, and then having the guts to ignore everything else. Okay, so of course that leads us to the next, much harder question. What is that one thing? The last bit of wisdom Curly leaves him with is that's what you've got to figure out. So let's move past the movie quote and figure out how this idea actually works in the real world. Now, this whole idea isn't just a fun little story. For the author of the book we're drawing from, it was literally a lifeline. See, he didn't dream this up in some moment of inspiration. He was basically forced into it when his business and his whole life were on the verge of completely falling apart. He was working harder than he ever had before, but everything was just breaking. He was spread so thin, trying to plug 100 different leaks at once. And in the end, he wasn't really fixing anything. Sound familiar? It's that classic trap of being busy instead of actually being productive. So his coach told him something pretty radical. Stop trying to do everything to run the company and just do one thing. And what was his one thing? To hire 14 specific people for 14 key jobs. That's it. He poured all his energy into that one single task. And the result? Well, the company didn't just survive. It kicked off a decade of explosive, record-breaking growth. And that whole experience led him to the central idea of the entire book. And it's such a great metaphor, the domino effect. It's this beautiful idea that the right small action at just the right time can set off a chain reaction that leads to something absolutely massive. Okay, this right here is the key mindset shift you have to make. Extraordinary success is sequential, not simultaneous. We're all taught to multitask, to juggle a million things. But true, massive achievement comes from lining up your priorities and knocking them down one by one. You do the right thing, and then you do the next right thing. And that's when the magic starts to happen. And here's where it gets absolutely wild. This isn't just a cute metaphor. This is actual physics. A researcher discovered that a single, ordinary domino has enough force to knock over another domino that's about 50% larger than itself. So it's not just a simple chain reaction, it's a geometric progression. The power literally grows with every single step. And just check out what that means in the real world. If you start with a tiny little 2-inch domino, by the time you get to the 18th domino in the line, it's as tall as the Leaning Tower of Pisa. The 31st is taller than Mount Everest, and the 57th could almost build a bridge to the moon. I mean, come on. That is the mind-blowing potential that is locked inside your very first small, focused action.
So, if this domino effect is so incredibly powerful, why are so many of us still feeling stuck and totally overwhelmed? Well, the book argues it's because we've all been sold a bunch of lies about productivity, these myths that keep us from ever finding our first, most important domino.
Okay, the biggest lie of them all, that everything matters equally. This is the lie that creates those endless, soul-crushing to-do lists and keeps us in a constant state of panic. We think being busy is the same as being productive. But when it comes to getting results, not all tasks are created equal. Not even close.
The big move here is to trade your to-do list for a success list. A to-do list is just a brain dump, right? It's a survival tool that pulls you in a million different directions. But a success list? Oh, that's a surgical instrument. It's short, it's focused, and it's built around your single most important priority.
And hey, this isn't just some self-help idea. It's a fundamental principle of how the world works. It's called the Pareto principle, or maybe you've heard of it as the 80-20 rule. It basically says that in almost anything, a very small number of your efforts, the vital few, are responsible for the huge majority of your results.
I mean, just look at this chart. That tiny little 20% of your effort is getting you 80% of your results. So the question you really got to ask yourself is, do I even know what my 20% is? The whole goal is to stop wasting all that energy on the trivial stuff and go all in on the vital few, or even better, the vital one.
And that brings us right to the second big lie, one that's totally baked into our culture, the myth of multitasking. We wear it like some badge of honor. But as this quote says so perfectly, it's really just a chance to mess up multiple things at the same time. The science is totally clear on this. The human brain cannot actually focus on two things at once. It just can't.
The numbers here are they're shocking. On average, we lose 28% of our workday just from task switching and dealing with distractions. Think about that. That's more than a full day of work lost every single week. Every time you check an email while you're writing a report, you pay a price in lost focus and lost time.
Okay, so we've torn down the lies that hold us back. We've seen the incredible power of the domino effect, so now it's time to put it all together. It's time for you to find your lead domino.
This right here is the single most important tool in the entire book. It's called the focusing question. And you can use it for your biggest long-term life goals, or you can use it to figure out what to do in the next hour. Say it with me. What's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? It's a question that just cuts through all the noise. And that's really the heart of it all. Stop looking for the 100 things you could do and start searching, really searching, for the one thing you should do. Find that lead domino, give it all your focus, tip it over, and then just watch how far that chain reaction takes you. The only question left is, what's your one thing?